So this video is a little bit different from what I usually do. It's pertaining to a theory that I have for a show I just started watching. So for a little bit of context, I've been watching the Amazing Digital Circus. I got up to the third episode, which is like the most recent right now, and I was watching the scene with Zubul and Kane, and it made me come to like this sort of like realization that I don't think has been brought up by anybody else yet. So I wanted to kind of frame that groundwork now and see if it actually like pays off in later episodes. I think that Zubul created Kane and the entire digital circus. I am theorizing this for a few reasons. One of which being the relationship between Zubul and Kane, which I find to be kind of strange because it's like Kane is trying to own up to Zubul even though he's this like all-powerful ringleader of the circus. You would think he wouldn't really have a need to own up to anybody, especially when they're just participants in games that like he created. But this is especially apparent with Zubul because they always avoid his games. On top of that, I can't help but think that Zubul's reactions to Kane is kind of like, it's very reminiscent of like a coder creating something like a piece of software or like an AI, and they are disappointed with the results. It's like they're watching their failing machine, but instead it's like actually in the digital space instead of like on a computer screen. And that's why Zubul doesn't participate in any of the games, because they're disappointed with what they created. Also, it seems like Jackson knows to a certain extent, because in the first episode of the show, he's having a conversation with Zubul and he says to them basically like, you know, aren't don't you want to see what Kane has in store? Like, almost the way that he said it was almost like there was a deeper meaning to it, like kind of like making fun of the fact that like Kane is a failing AI and Zubul is the creation, like kind of watching it fail more and more and more over time. Also, the last thing that I'll mention is the creators were talking about how each episode is supposed to focus on a specific character. But the weird thing about that is episode 3 is a double episode for Kinger and Zubul. And there's actually, I think there's like a chart showing like what episode is focusing on who, but like there isn't like a solely like Zubul centered episode. And I think 7 and 8 are like mystery episodes that like we don't really know a lot about. But watching episode 3, it was mostly Kinger. Like, I mean, there was a little bit was like Zubul, but I mean, Kinger was through and through like the main focus of the episode. So like, does that mean that like something big with Zubul is going to come up later? Because it almost seems like that. But yeah, again, I mean, this is something that like I've been thinking about. So if there's anything to add on to this theory, I would love to hear about it. Let me know in the comments like what you think.